Do you have a whole bunch of photo albums, boxes of pictures? Maybe you have stacks of envelopes filled with photos you've never even looked at. Don't worry, you're not alone. I'm here to help you get a plan to organize it, scan it, and then enjoy it and save it. Join me now and I'll share our system so you can get your photos organized once and for all. Hi, my name is Molly Bartelt, and I own Pixologie, where we've been helping people organize and save their photos for over 10 years. I really have seen most of the situations that are out there, whether it's being overwhelmed with pictures and just not knowing where to start, or starting and then realizing you made a mistake and you have to regroup and start over. I've also seen where people have finished organizing their pictures and they love knowing the peace of mind that brings that it's off the to-do list. We are going to focus on print photo organizing. That is my goal for today's video. Now, in the past, we used to call our work photo organizing, but we realized that's a nebulous term. Like, you think you can always come back to it and do it. We need to treat this as a project that has to get done so that we finish it. And that's why about 5 years ago, we started calling our work creating a photo estate. Now, let me just show you a definition of what a photo estate is. We have it here, and we've just described it as having an organized archive of family photos, videos, and memorabilia. It makes it easy to enjoy your collection and share it today while also preserving and passing it on for future generations. Now, this photo estate, it really helps give you a concrete idea on what you can do with your pictures when you put your mind to it. So I need to just show you a couple things that is going to help you visualize what this is going to look like. I mean, you're going to have organized boxes of photos potentially, but that's not where the power is. It's when your photos are digital and you have saved them on your computer, which is what we teach, and then back them up in the cloud. So this here is just a very simple diagram. We have the photo estate folder on the left. All of the work of organizing the pictures and scanning them is going to result in them being saved in this folder, the photo estate folder. Sometimes our clients call it like their master folder, but we aim for a photo estate folder. When that's done, then you get to back that folder up to cloud storage. This is how you have a backup outside of the house, and it's also where it's easier to share pictures. And we definitely have some ideas in mind on what is a good cloud storage site. Let's first talk about something I call the balance. This diagram kind of lays out the different things that you have to think about when working on saving your pictures. So we have on the left-hand side here, the quality. And when I talk about quality, we're talking about a lot of variables like the size of the pictures, making sure you have metadata, that your organization is perfect. A lot of people get hung up with the organization and then they just can't carry on. Once photos are digital, people worry about these other things as well. So on the left-hand side, you're worried about the quality. You want to do it right, you're overwhelmed, and it weighs you down. On the right-hand side are all the resources it takes to do the photo organization. We know it takes time and potentially money, especially for the digitizing. Your sanity is a resource, and so is your ability to persevere. I have to tell you about sanity. Like, I literally have had people talk to me about how anxious they are about organizing their photos. One of my clients, before coming in, and keep in mind, we're doing the work for her. She came in and she's like, I had to take a Xanax before coming. It was nerve-wracking for her. One of my dear friends, just can't stand the thought of it. She's like, I would rather scrub toilets than organize my pictures. So we know that all of that effort to go into it's a drain, and you have to find a balance. So we don't want to worry about preserving everything the perfect way. We want to do it well enough so that we can maintain our work, so that we don't give up on it in 6 months. So finding the balance is really important. There are literally just 3 things that you need to make your photo project come together: organize, digitize, and preserve. These steps you could repeat depending on what part of your photo project you're working on. So when we talk about organizing, essentially we want to get things organized chronologically and potentially with extra major categories. We are going to deduplicate during that step, and we're going to consolidate batches of photos together. Then step 2 is digitizing. So we're going to take whatever we've organized, and then we're going to scan it or have it be transferred if it's film, or if it's digitizing memorabilia. So step 2 is making your print stuff be digital. Then the third step is preserving your stories and your memories. In this step, this is where we add metadata like comments and tags. We can use facial recognition. We're going to create photo books potentially, or slideshows. And the goal is to share and pass on your collection. Quite often, I see people who are working on photo books and then they don't save their actual pictures properly. So when the time comes 5 years later, you've got the photo book in print, but you no longer have the scanned photos. So we want to do this in order if possible: organize, digitize, and preserve. Now, there's a lot of different parts of photos to actually work on. And when I talk about photos, I am referring to the film reels and the videotapes and other items that come in. So I've got this really nice photo inventory list, and you can see a link down below to download it. And I would love for you to check off those things that you have to do. And then the next page of this document is splitting those items up so that we have the organize section, digitize, and preserve. There are some parts of this that you may not want to do yourself, and there are some things you probably should hire someone to do for you. So fill out the photo inventory form and see what you've got, and then you can start deciding what you want to have done for you. I've got a video up there that kind of talks about how you can save money when you do hire somebody to do parts of this photo saving project for you. Step 1 in organize, remember I talked about organizing chronologically. Well, with print photos, the best thing you can do is gather it all together in one place. And then you are going to conduct up to 3 sorts of the materials, because our goal is to create batches of photos or items. So the first sort, you're going to divide everything up by decades or major category. You go through everything and you divide it up by decades or major category. Now, major categories could include career or military. Some of my clients like to have vacations be a major category. The whole point of the first sort is not to be examining every picture. You want to go through this quickly and just plop the item, the photo album or the envelopes, into a decade pile. So you get everything divided by decades, and this should not take you too long. Then the second sort is dividing it up by years and subcategories. So once you got through the first sort, you're going to pick one of the decades and divide it up by years. We have found probably about 3/4 of the items we organize have some sort of date where we can figure that out. So you divide everything up by years and then go to the next decade. This does take a little bit longer, of course. And then if you really want to fine tune the organization, you're going to do a third sort. So you're going to take the year and then divide it up by months or special events so that your year makes sense. You put your birthdays where they go. Valentine's is in the beginning, and Halloween and Thanksgiving and Christmas and the holidays are at the end. It really does make a difference to organize each year. Now, this step does take the longest, but it really makes your digitizing so much easier and more enjoyable when you can see your photos in order. Somehow over time, it's like pictures get shuffled. They get shuffled and they are in different places, and you have envelopes with mixed pictures. Maybe there was a project. So when you do 3 sorts of your physical pictures, you bring back, collections of pictures where you can see exactly who was at an event and what was important. So that is the 3 sorts. Now, you will have some items that are mixed or undated, and don't worry about that because it's going to be a much smaller section than you realize once you get there, okay? So the mixed items, if you want after the second or third sort, you probably will have a better idea of where the mixed pictures should go. And if you have undated photos, let's just say we had a bunch of, pictures that were somewhat in the 1980s. You can have a batch that's just 1980s undated. All the while that you're doing this, especially the second and third sorts, you're going to eliminate the duplicates and then get rid of the unnecessary photos. Then we're going to consolidate all of this into batches of pictures. You are going to name each batch of picture with the formula here. It's 4 digits for the year, 2 digits for the month, 2 digits for the date, and a description. Doesn't have to be perfect, but definitely start off with the year. So it could be like, 1995-12 Christmas photos. If you wanted to be really specific, it would be 1995-12-25 Christmas photos. Or it could be 1993-01 January photos, and you didn't have any special events. And speaking of that, let's say you have a vacation. It could be 1997-03 Spain travel. That could be, an example of a batch name. And again, if you have something that you don't know the date exactly, you can just call it 1980s estimated or 1980s undated, and you can have a smaller batch of pictures that you just haven't been able to put into a specific date batch. I know I'm kind of simplifying it here for you, but it's really not a scary process. It can take time. And that's why you really, really, really need to put emotion aside, all right? You just have to be clinical, efficient, and keep moving forward. No picking up the phone to call your sister or mom to say, hey, I found this photo. We cannot be sidetracked because before you know it, 3 months goes by and something else happens and your project just waits. So you have to be really efficient. Let me just tell you something that might help you when you are trying to figure out what to save, because we definitely don't have to save everything. The goal is not to save every moment captured on film, but rather the essence of what life was like and who was important. I hope that really helps you, because I just have to tell you, one shoebox of pictures, about that wide or long, can hold 1,000 photos. And these days, scanning photos is pretty much starting at like 60 cents each, all the way up to $1.20 or more. That's like $600 for a shoebox of pictures to scan it, unless you do it yourself. So you can be a little judicious when you are moving pictures to the trash pile. And the new pictures, the pictures that were printed in the 1980s and forward, you can actually recycle those. Let me show you an example here. So this client actually had everything packed into 6 bins. So it was a good example of getting everything collected to one place. And in this client's case, we were taking care of it. She also had some oversized convex portraits, which were kind of fancy, and these we had to photograph, but you never know what people are going to have in a collection. So these photos were photographed and then returned to our client. The rest of these bins, we went through and did the 3 sorts. We first divided everything up by decade, and then we took each decade and divided it up by year. And then we took each year and divided it up by month or special event. One tip when you are in the organizing and you're on the second sort, so this is where you're breaking the decades down into years, you might be removing pictures from albums or envelopes. If there's notes on them, you can make your divider right off the bat for that picture or that batch of pictures and put it into your box. This client did have batches of pictures that already had dates on them. So by the time we were done with the second and third sort, we had a really nice organized batch of pictures here on the left. When we organize photos, we use blue dividers for decades, green dividers for years, and orange dividers for the months and special events. So in this case, our client had batches of pictures that were already labeled like an envelope. So I can see this 1996, 07, 08. Santa Barbara. That was a batch of pictures. We made the orange divider right off the bat for it because we had the information. So as you're removing pictures from the albums, you might even be able to do some of that sorting by month or event as you go through them. Anyway, you can see this was the final result. We have around 6,500 or 7,000 pictures here on the left, if we go by the shoebox rule. And then the portraits are divided up by person in this little like file folders with the Post-it notes on them. And then we organized each person chronologically, so their portraits show the kids growing through the years. We have a box of the empty envelopes, just for informational sake, that can be thrown away. And then we have all the photos that we set aside as duplicates or repetitive pictures. So you could see, like, we almost took out half of the photos to be saved. So that's organizing pictures. Now, we need to take each of those boxes of pictures and scan them. And what we're aiming for is to have scanned batches of pictures in a folder structure. So you can see here, first of all, when you scan pictures, we recommend JPEGs. If you're going to be heavily editing the photos, they will be TIFFs. You'll want them to be TIFFs. And we recommend 600 dots per inch. Unless they're really tiny pictures, then you might want 1,200 dots per inch. As you scan them, you're going to want to save them to a folder with the batch name. And you're pretty much creating your photo estate folder structure as you go. So on the right-hand side here, you can see the photo estate folder. And then I've got a folder with the formula. It's just a variation on it, the 1900s to 1940s Cordes family history. And inside there are more folders with the 1900s to 1910s photos and then, batches of photos in there. The 70s kind of shows it better. We have a folder with the decade, and then a folder with the year inside it. I have the wedding, the 1972-02 wedding outside because it was such a significant event in my family's life, my mom and dad's wedding. So your folder structure, you can adjust as it works best for you. This is just kind of a framework for you to start with. So you might wonder, how do you get these all scanned? So in this list here, there's all sorts of ways to scan pictures from your phone with PhotoMine to FlipPal and portable wand type scanners. I have highlighted photo-specific scanners like a flatbed and oversized if you have like scrapbook pages or newspaper articles, and then high-speed scanners. Those are the two that we focused on teaching people about. And the big one that my clients have used and people who follow me on YouTube is the Epson FastFoto 680W. Here you can see I've got, it's close to 10 boxes of pictures. And if there's 1,000 photos in each box, that's like 10,000 photos. The Epson FastFoto is super fast. It feeds, and it just goes fast. There's also software that allows you to name the folder and name your pictures. So that's all done for you. With each batch. You have to change it with each batch, but it works really well. If you need a flatbed scanner, I have a link below for tools that you could purchase on our website, and Epson's pretty much the go-to for flatbed scanners. Now, I did want to just point out, PhotoMine is so popular that sometimes people, just want to see what it looks like. The app itself is either like $40 or $60 per year, which is extremely inexpensive for scanning pictures. However, it is using your phone camera to take a picture, and then it's got software with artificial intelligence in it that helps to try to improve the photo. So on the left-hand side, you can see I have a PhotoMine scan of this picture, and you can see the file size is under 1 megabyte, and the image DPI is 72 pixels per inch. This is a small size file. I couldn't really do a lot of work with editing it and enlarging like the little girl's face. If I wanted to do that, I'd need to scan this as a TIFF, and for sure not with PhotoMine. On the right-hand side, we have the high-speed scanner, and you can see it's 600 pixels per inch, it's 2.5 megabytes. To me, the photo on the right looks more natural because it was, using a regular photo scanner. So that gives you an idea. Like someone asked me recently, well, I think the one on the left hand looks better. And actually, if you ask like 5 people their opinion on scans from different scanners, you're going to get 5 different opinions. It like drove me batty because here at Pixologie, we have lots of different scanners and we would test it. Every one of my staff and me had a different opinion on what looked good to us. So the important thing is that you're happy with the result. So that is scanning. Next, step 3 is preserving the photos. So you get them scanned. What do you do next? We're going to make sure they're backed up properly. We're going to add information to the pictures, create photo books, and share and pass on to future generations. So first of all, this 3-to-1 backup strategy, any work that you do with your pictures on your computer, make sure you're backing it up. So the 3-to-1 backup strategy says you have an original and then a copy in the house and a copy outside of the house. So the 3 copies we teach is you have your photo estate folder on your computer, you have a copy of it on an external hard drive, and then you upload those folders to cloud storage. We recommend forever permanent storage, but some people use Dropbox or OneDrive, and I think there's issues with those sites, but if you know how to keep track of what's being saved where, you just have to pick one and then make sure you're keeping up with backing things up. So that's the 3 copies. Then the 2 stands for 2 media types. So we recommend your computer and an external hard drive. If you don't use a computer, that makes all of this a little more difficult, but you could have an external hard drive and the cloud storage. And then, of course, you have to have the one, which is one outside of the house. And like I mentioned, that's your cloud storage, and we recommend forever permanent storage. Now, part of step 3, the preserve, is adding information to pictures. So in this photo of the farm, I have on the right-hand side a black column that is the info panel for this picture, which is being stored in forever permanent storage. You can see that I've added the description, the date taken has been changed, and there's tags below. So all of that is editing a photo's metadata. The easiest way to do this is actually in forever permanent storage, which is why I am showing you here. But you can edit the metadata in Windows File Explorer, the Photos app, and other places. You just want to make sure that people will be able to view it. And forever hands down is the way to do that. Next is creating with your pictures. So you could do the slideshows, a calendar. I have the photo books on the right side. That Henry Hartman's family, this picture, it's a screenshot of a photo book. And these pictures in there are photos that my Aunt Carol borrowed to me back in like 2010. Before I ever started Pixologie, I scanned those photos and I gave them back to her. I have no idea where those scans ended up, and all I have now is this page which has the embellishments on them, and it's not going to be a good quality picture if I even try to crop them out. My aunt passed away, and her 4 sons promise me they're going to help me find these photos in her belongings one of these days. So that's why it's so important to save your pictures in a good place, like your photo estate folder, and then do projects with them. Lastly, we want to make sure that we're passing on our family's legacy. The work you put into your pictures is important to you. And I gotta just mention that as important as it is to you, you may find that your family is not jumping on to the bandwagon to help you or look at what you've done. Sometimes it takes a special family moment or gathering for these memories to really be enjoyed and your work appreciated. Now, in the case here, this is Jen, who is a dear client of ours. And we organized her photos and we scanned them. So you're looking at her albums in her Forever account. And she doesn't have any children, but she has nieces, great nieces, and great great nieces. And all of those women are going to know Jen's legacy. She was one of the first female attorneys in Chicago in the 60s and had a really fulfilling career. Now, one thing I wanted to mention, Forever, in addition to being the easiest way to work with pictures and share them, also has a guarantee to pass on your photos to the next generation. They guarantee to migrate your photos to the newest technology for your lifetime plus 100 years. And I just put this in here. That's an added benefit to using Forever, is it's so easy to share and have people who can take over your account when you're gone. And that's what this is all about. It's sharing and passing on to future generations. I mean, there's other benefits to organizing your photos and enjoying them personally, but seeing how people react and enjoy the work you've done when that moment comes is like the best. Okay, so first of all, feel wonderful about getting the project done. And then when the time comes, these moments are going to really matter. The bottom right photo is of my cousins looking through the pictures on our Forever account. And yeah, I've been talking to them about this for like 7-8 years. And we just happened to be at my cousin Mark's 60th birthday at a beer garden. And the phones came out and we were sharing pictures. It was so much fun. Years in the making for them to actually enjoy and appreciate it at that moment. And the top left is of our client Michelle and her son. He is seeing pictures of himself as a baby just born in the hospital for the very first time. We are really having this opportunity today to save our photos so that we can enjoy and share the moments, pass on traditions and legacy. It's no good to wait another day. But I understand if you have to. If you're ready to, take this challenge and get the photos organized, definitely see the link below to get the inventory and the checklist. That's a good first step, and then you'll be added to our e-newsletter. We also have the Pix plan where people are working on their photos with me, and you have routine assistance, a couple times a month, and we can chat and troubleshoot the things that are going on in your projects. What questions do you have? If I have missed something, put it in the comments below. I'd love to answer them. That is all I have for now. Is probably enough. And until I see you again, you take care.